beauty queens, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited for today's video because as you guys already read by the title of this video, I am going to be announcing the big news on the job offer that I actually accepted. So if you are at all interested in finding out what job I accepted as my first nursing job, please keep on watching. All right, friends, so if you are new here and you have no idea what I've been up to and the application processes that I've been actually going back and forth with, I'm gonna go ahead and briefly let you guys know and kind of fill you in on what has actually been taking place the past few weeks. So sometime last week, I actually had my first interview with a hospital. The job that I applied for wasn't a specific job title. It was just a new grad positions. Basically, like you submit one application to this hospital and you kind of like apply to every single thing, you know? And so throughout the application, they ask you like, what were you interested? So like your top 3 units and what shift time were you actually interested in? So daytime or nighttime and all that fun stuff throughout the application. So after I actually applied for the job, I received an email asking to set up an actual phone interview. I want to say about like a week later. So I did hear back from the hospital really soon, which was obviously in my favor because girl, I just really want to start working. So during the interview, I went ahead and restated like the units that I was most interested in. And as most of you guys know, my #1 choice for a nursing career is labor and delivery. So I was super stuck on that decision and I'm like, you know, like I know new grads don't get into labor and delivery, but like if there's any possible way. And so she was super kind. She went ahead and looked in the system and they did not have anything. And if they did, it's typically going to like current staff already. So it doesn't really go to like new graduates outside of the hospital, if that makes any sense. So I wasn't really expecting to get an L&D job off the bat because I know a lot of people have to work for it and at least like work for a year in the hospital. So I was like, you know, anywhere that's going to kind of push me towards that goal. So at the end of our interview, she was like, well, listen, Darian, I'm gonna go ahead and offer you 2 very different positions, but they're both amazing. And with either one, they will both get you to your actual overall goal, which is L&D. So the first position that she actually offered me was postpartum. And then the second one that she offered me was intensive care unit. So the ICU. I went ahead and posted on my Instagram, I think sometime last week, literally after our interview, because I was completely torn between these 2 decisions. You know, like they are both very different. And so I didn't know really what I wanted to do and what decision I ultimately needed to make. We did interview on a Friday, and so she gave me the weekend to think about it, talk with my loved ones, and get back to her via email on Monday morning. So that is exactly what I did. So yes, I did speak with her on Monday, letting her know what my final decision was. And I'm not going to make you guys wait any longer as to what my final decision came down to. So I honestly feel like we need some kind of drum roll before I announce the big announcement, but I decided to go with postpartum. I am so excited, y'all. Like, oh my goodness. I cannot tell you guys how excited and how scary, but yet like I'm so ready to start kind of feelings that I'm experiencing. So why the heck did I pick postpartum in comparison to ICU? I got so much DMs telling me amazing things about both. You know, you guys really shared your guys' inputs and opinions about these 2 very different job offers. And I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who did give me their feedback and share with me your opinion, because I used everything that you guys said and I took it into consideration. So the reason why I chose postpartum as a new graduate position is because my end goal is to work for labor and delivery or somewhere women's health. Honestly, I feel like the big goal is to ultimately go back to school, maybe become a midwife, an NP, and start delivering babies, you know? And so as I was talking to my interviewer, she said that the main person that they would take to get an L&D job is someone who works in the postpartum, because I will be getting cross-trained into all of the units within the women's and infant services. So I won't only be learning postpartum stuff, but I will also be learning prepartum as well as like the NICU. I'm gonna be able to go inside and see the little cute babies, and then I could also go into L&D sometimes if need be. So if you guys don't know this, I was a volunteer for I believe like 2 years for Women's and Infant Services. So I literally volunteered in postpartum, NICU, prepartum, and I wasn't allowed in labor and delivery only because like it's labor and delivery. It's kind of like the ER of the baby and mom world. So I was exposed to that environment, and if I'm being honest, I did not hate it. Like, I actually learned to love it, and I really enjoyed looking at the nurses. It goes as simple as teaching a new mom how to change a diaper, to teaching a mom how to breastfeed, you know what I'm saying? Or just being there for her as a comforter in such a vulnerable state, you know? And so I absolutely loved it when I volunteered, and when she offered me a postpartum position, I was like, hold on, like, you're not offering me a med surg or a telemetry job offer. With her just offering me such a great position, I was very, very blessed to be able to have the opportunity to choose between both jobs. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of people saying like, oh, don't choose postpartum because you're not going to learn as much, or you're not going to be able to do as much skills or practice this or practice that, because at the end of the day, in a picture perfect world, mom and baby are already stabilized when they are in postpartum. So I do understand that I am not going to get the same experience as I would in the ICU world. You know, I am very aware that I'm not gonna be seeing as juicy of stuff like I'm always talking about, but at the end of the day, I do feel like this is what I'm supposed to do and where I would be happiest at. Another point that I do want to kind of make really quickly is that I never really seen myself as an ICU nurse. If you ever ask me like, oh, where do you want to work? I would never in a million years say ICU. I enjoyed my rotations there during clinical, but it wasn't a happy place to be, in my opinion. So I really, really, really love the environment of postpartum. At the end of the day, mom already had baby, and it's like a happier environment. And so I do think that it would be really, really amazing just to actually work there. So that is not to say that ICU wouldn't have been an amazing job. Like, I know that I would have learned so much in the ICU. I know that I would have been testing my critical thinking abilities, but at the end of the day, for me personally, why am I going to put myself in a situation where I really feel like I would be miserable at? Like, I have no interest in the ICU, so it's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna be working there, signing a contract for a year, and then ends up hating it 99.9% of the time, you know what I'm saying? And so I was just like, honestly, for my new graduate experience, I don't want to dislike nursing. I don't know how to say it best, but I've seen so much YouTube videos, I've heard so many horror stories of a nurse starting in ICU or med-surg or telemetry as a new graduate, and it's literally nothing like they thought the nursing field was going to be like. And so I see these YouTubers crying because it's so difficult and they hate it, and I just feel like I don't work good under pressure, and if I were to be in the ICU, I would kind of be setting myself up for failure in a slight way. With that, I am very, very excited to start this new journey. I am humbled, I am blessed, I am highly favored, because getting a job in postpartum as a new graduate is seriously not common. It's not likely, as many of you guys messaged me and told me that. And I'm going to be working night shifts. A lot of you guys are probably thinking like, girl, night shift? Like, why such a thing? Because my family was like so shook that I was like, I want night shifts. And my main reason was honestly just because I'm young, and why the heck not? Like, I don't have a husband, I don't have children, like I literally have nothing holding me back from working a night shift. And so obviously, like, the differential between day shift versus night shift, I'm like, girl, if I could be making 18% more an hour to work night shifts, like, you better believe I'm coming in at 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. I really feel like right now is the time to hustle, it's the time to grind, it's the time to start saving. I also think that the environment is going to be a little bit more calm as opposed to day shift when everyone's up and active and all that stuff. But that's just a personal preference, that's my own personal opinion. So with all that being said, friends, I love you guys so, so much. That is actually all that I have in today's video. Have a beautiful, blessed rest of your guys' days and weeks. Until next time, I will see you guys next week. Bye, friends.